Hello everyone, it's Lisa. I was asked by Kristen, one of the design team members from the Stamps of Life, to host one of the weekly challenges in the Stamps of Life Facebook fan group. I was more than happy to accept the challenge, and the theme for my challenge is flowers. I created several cards using the flowers theme, and I will be recording the process videos of how I made each card. So be sure to check out all 6 of my videos at my YouTube channel and on my blog at lisamearscarddesigns.com. Okay, for this card, I am going to use several different supplies from the Stamps of Life. The paper pad that I'm using for the pattern paper is the Me and You collection, and this is the particular paper that I'm using from this pad. And I'm also going to be using the candy solid cardstock, as well as the strawberry cardstock, which is this red color here, and the cloud, which is the gray, this cloud color, and again the candy, and also the powdered sugar. I'm going to be using that as well. The die set and the stamp set that I'm going to be using are these, I think it's the jar dies and the jar to stamp. And I went ahead and I die cut out the jar. I didn't stamp this particular one. I think I'm just going to use the stamps for the sentiments that are in the inside of the card. But I did use the shadow layer and the mason jar from the jar dies. And I cut the powdered sugar cardstock with the mason jar, and then the shadow layer with the cloud cardstock. So I used those. And for the flowers, I used these Triplits dies, the Triplits 660706 and the 659607. And I cut these and kind of mix and match them, and I'm going to glue them together. I kind of had them laid out the way that I want them, and I'm going to glue them down. So those are the dies I've used. I'm also going to bring in some twine from, I believe this was from the March card kit, for the mason jar. And I'm also going to be using these Framelits tags 662732 to create a tag, which I've already went ahead and die cut the pieces that I'm going to use, which are this particular die. It's the second to the smallest, as well as the For You die cut that goes in the middle. So I've die cut out of the red, which is the strawberry paper, and out of the sky paper, and I'll put those together. Okay, so I went ahead and I glued all of the layers together on 4 of these flowers, and I'll just finish up this last one. And basically you can layer these however you want. You can mix and match those 2 die sets. And I'm just layering the different colors. And I got my color inspiration from the actual pattern paper that I'm using. Notice that, you know, it has all the same colors: the strawberry, the cloud, the sky, and the candy cardstock. And what I like about the pattern paper is that it actually tells you on the bottom of the paper pads what solid color cardstock matches the pattern paper pad. So I went with that for my color choices. So here I'm just going to go ahead and layer this last top flower on, and I am using my Tombow mono liquid glue, which I really love. I've had some other liquid glues in the past and they'd get all dried up, and I find that this does not dry up at all, and it's always really easy to use. Okay, so I'm going to let this last one form there, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere my mason jar. So again, I use those jar die cuts from the Stamps of Life, and I use the cloud paper and the powdered sugar to cut out those die cuts. And now I'm just using some double-sided tape, and I am going to adhere those together. So I'll peel that off and I'll adhere that down. And I think that using that cloud cardstock, it gives that a nice shadow on that mason jar. And I also cut out the jar top using the same color cloud cardstock as the shadow layer. So we'll go ahead and adhere that to the top, just like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and take my twine. And actually before I do that, I think what I'll do is, well, I don't want that one because that one I already made. I wanna show you how I made this. I took the strawberry paper and I used the this particular die and I cut that out. And then I put double-sided adhesive on the sky paper and I cut another one of these dies out. And then I took the For You and I put it on top of the blue paper just like that, ran it through the die cut machine and ended up with this. So now I can adhere both of these together to create a nice tag. And remember that the blue has the double-sided adhesive on it, so it's gonna stick really nice to the red. And what I like about these, they already have a hole in them, so I can go ahead and put this twine through. Whoa. And I'm gonna wrap this around. Wrap it around just a few times. And then I'm gonna put some tape there in the back. And cut that off. And I'm going to put some more adhesive on there because this is eventually going to go down on the card. So I want to make sure that it will be adhered well. Do one more. And then I think I'm going to have to put some adhesive on the back of that tag in order for it to stay. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna take my card base, and this is basically just a 5x7, which I put the candy cardstock on top, and then I cut this down slightly smaller than the card base, and I'm gonna go ahead and adhere that. Okay, so I'm going to peel off the adhesive, adhere this panel to my card, and then I'm ready to start arranging. All right, so I'm first going to apply the mason jar, because that will give me an idea of where then to place these flowers. And I wanted to have a lot of flowers with this card, so that's why I went with the bigger card base. I should say the taller card base, because I found that the A2 card size was not gonna fit all the flowers that I wanted to add, because I really wanted to add a whole bunch. So then my goal here is now to make it look like a lot of flowers are pouring out of the top of this out of the top of this card. So I think I'm gonna have to apply some, I think we'll do some glue. Because I think glue would probably be much easier than doing tape on some of these. And then I could probably put some tape on this one. I don't know if I like glue or tape better. I think sometimes I like glue better, sometimes I like tape better. I really find that this tape is so sticky. It adheres so well to my cards. And the tape that I use is the Sparkle and Sprinkle Terrific Tape, which I absolutely love. And then we'll bring in these. Have to see how I want to layer them. Okay, so I decided that I didn't want this red one adhered fully to the card. So the good thing about putting the glue down is I lifted it right back up and I put some foam on the back because I wanted that to stand up a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with a few of these others so that it gives them a little bit more dimension by just putting some foam on the backs. I think this one I'll put some glue down on that one. I don't want them all to stand up. I want some of them to be flat. And see how I can layer this one underneath because this red one has some dimension under it. So I'm going to put some foam on this one. And because I'm not putting the foam on the whole back side and I'm only putting it on the middle, it will allow these pieces to stand up if I wanted them to and kind of, you know, bend up a little bit and whatnot. So I think that gives some good dimension. That's so pretty. All right, so now on the inside, I think I'll add a sentiment. Okay, so I went ahead and I used the You Fill Me With Happiness stamp from the Jar to Stamp set, and I stamped it on the inside of my card. And that completes that card. I think that's so beautiful.